Hi all, welcome to Cyber Warfare Lab's AWS Cloud Red Team course. In this module, we will discuss about how we can exfiltrate the data from EBCs. So, suppose there is one EBC, one volume which is attached to EC2 instance, and this volume contains sensitive information, maybe keys, passwords, or any other source code or any other information related to our organizations. Suppose you are doing a red teaming there and you found that there is one instance which is critical, but you can't directly access this instance. You have rights to create new instance, you have rights to delete the instance, but you don't have a key or password to access this instance. Then how you can get the information which is there in this instance? So you can do this method. You can exfiltrate whatever information there in their storage on this particular instance. You can grab all these things. So let's see how we can do these scenarios. So you can see here in this diagram, suppose there is one EC2 instance. You can see this is a EC2 instance which contain sensitive informations. So there is a volume which is attached to this instance, which is just like a storage where the organization stores sensitive information, key, password, or any other information. So this is the information which is there in this instance, which is stored in EBS. There is an EBS which is attached to this instance, and this information is stored in EBS. The EBS is stored in information as a persistence manner. So how we can exfiltrate? Because if you can't directly access this instance, you cannot extract this information from this instance. So how we can perform using take advantage of this functionality or abusing the EBS functionality. So you can see here the first thing what we can do, we can create a snapshot for this instance. Snapshot means there is one hard disk, so we can create a backup of this hard disk. So this is the snapshot we have. So we created the backup of this hard disk. So everything will be attached there. This data will be comes here in this snapshot. Now, what next we are going to do is in this snapshot, we can't directly attach this snapshot to any instance. So first we have to create the volume. So you have to create the volume from this snapshot. So once you have a volume, you can attach this volume to your newly created snapshot, because you can create a new snapshot but you can't access this snapshot. So this is the first volume. This is the first EC2 instance, and this is the another EC2 instance. So this is the instance you created. So you can attach this volume to this instance, and you can, because you have a key to access this instance, and you can access the sensitive data from here. So this is how you can perform the data exfiltration or credential access using take advantage of EBS. So let's see practically how we can do this. So, let's see. So suppose there is one instance. This is the instance. Suppose this is the instance which is contain the sensitive information, like here. Let's get in the session. Okay, so suppose here you can see this is the instance for an organization they are using, and there is key or password or any sensitive information. So currently we have a key. Suppose you can see the key which contain a private key for a SSH to any other private subnet, to access the private subnet or RDS or whatever thing is there. So you can see here there is a key, but you cannot access, or as a red teamer you don't have a any credential to access this instance. So how we can get this key? How can we get those data? Suppose first thing what we are going to do, suppose I already configured the one user which have a rights permission on EC2 that he can create the instance, he can attach the instance, he can attach the snapshot, he can create the snapshot, he can attach the volume to the instance. So all these operations he can perform because he have a rights, but he doesn't have key or password to access the critical instance. So you can see here the first thing which as a red teamer you have to do is identify all the running instance in a particular region. So just copy it here. Let's clear this one. Copy here, profile SRV. So I configured this user compromised user profile in CLI as SRV EC2. You can see here all the instance which is there in this particular region. The default region is, you can see here. So this is the one instance which is running there. There is one more instance, you can see here. This is the instance first. This is the instance second. This is the instance second. So you can see here there is two instances. This is the instance second and this is the instance first. So why, when you check the key tags information, you can find out, okay, it seems like this is the instance which seems like critical, because it's contained the source code or because it's there in the public subnets. So it seems like it's a critical instance, and this is the IP address of this instance. This is the public IP address, so anybody can access from the public. But we know that we cannot access this instance because we don't have a key or any credential to access this instance. But we have a rights to create a new instance. We have a rights to create a snapshot. So suppose we found that this is the instance. We know the ID of this instance is this one. This is the instance ID of this instance. So now what we are going to do? So let's check what are the volume is attached to this instance. You can see here block device mapping. This is the volume ID which is attached to this instance. So there is only a single, which is primary volume, which is attached to this instance. That means all the file system or all the key or password or source code which will be stored in this device only, because there is only single device. There may be a chance that there is a multiple device, but there is a single device, block device, which is attached to this instance. So now what we are going to do, you can see here from this diagram, we identify this is the instance. Now what we are going to do, first take a snapshot of this instance. That means I'm creating a backup of this particular device which is attached to this instance. So how we can take it? You can see here, first we have to check how you can also check the volumes available there. Okay, so let's copy this one, let's paste it here, let's profile here SRV C2. So you can see here all the volume which is attached to this instance. So you can see there is one volume which is attached to this instance, and the volume ID is this 72. Let's see, this is the same. What's the difference? So this is the same. So you can see here this is the volume which is attached to this instance. So you can see by looking for a EC2 descriptions, or you can see by looking for the volume. So so we are interested in this volume. This is attached to this instance. This is the same instance ID here. You can see this 54. This is the same instance ID. So you can see the other information, like it's 8 GB volume, and it's not encrypted. The state is already attached. So this is the information, you can get it. Now what we are going to do, first we are going to create a snapshot from this volume which is attached to this EC2. How we can create the snapshots? So you can create the snapshot using this command. One thing you should know, that first we have to check the user we compromised has sufficient rights to get the information, create an instance, delete the instance. So how we can do that? How we can check? So you can get all the information by looking for the policy which is attached to a users, or which is attached to a roles. So suppose there is a user, what are the policy, inline or managed policy which is attached to this user, and what are the permission is there. So there is one tool which is really important. This is called IAM policy simulator. So once you get the information about the policy, you can paste the policy here. So suppose this is a user, this user, the profile which we configured srv ec22, and this is the policy which is attached here. So you can get the policy using CLI options. This is the policy. Now you can see what rights does it have. So suppose I'm just looking for EC2, what command I'm going to execute? I'm going to execute the command this create snapshots. So can you see, just like you can see, let's clear this result. This is the EC2 services which we are interested. You can see here the create snapshot, create image, create a snapshot, and run the simulation. It will show you do you have a rights or not. Okay, I think my session got expired. This post. Okay, so you can see here when we are looking for this actions, can we perform this action on EC2? You can see here yes. So this policy allow you to perform these actions on this particular services. So this is how you can check what policies attach and what you can do. So this is a really helpful for your red teaming exercise. So you can directly paste a policy here and you can see there what permission do I have, if I'm able to execute those particular command, if you not aware about all these things. So it will be, you can see all the services there from the whatever services are provided by AWS, EC2, S3, and all these things you can see here. So this will help you to understand about what action you can perform, what are the services you can perform, what are the resources. So you can see here this is the resources you can perform on snapshot as well as volume, but there may be a you can perform this particular EC2 instance or you can perform any other EC2 instances. So that you can do it here. Because here you can see star is resource star is allowed, so you can perform all the snapshot and all the volume. But if they mention here the particular ARN of this particular resource, it will be shown here. And if you want to execute in any other resources, you can't execute it. So this is how it will help you to understand about. So you can see here I can do the create snapshot option, so I can create the snapshots if you have a rights. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So you have to just copy this command. Let's copy this command, open a new tab, paste it here. Profile you have to choose SRV. Perfect. Now what information you need to provide? You need to provide the volume ID. Which volume you want to take a snapshot or which volume you want to take a backup. So this is the volume ID because this is the volume which is attached to our critical instance. This is the same volume. This is the same volume ID. You can see a 72. I just paste it here. So it will take some time and it will create the snapshot. So if your volume is encrypted, it will take a longer time to take a snapshot, but if it's a normal, not encrypted, it will take it immediately. So you can see here this is not encrypted, the description of this snapshot should be there, and this is the snapshot ID which is created from this volume. This is the volume which is attached to instance and we created this snapshot. So you can see here we created one snapshot from this volume which is attached to this EC2 instance. Now what next? You cannot directly attach this snapshot to this instance. You have to create one volume from this snapshot. Let's create a volume from this snapshot. So what we are going to do, this is a command. So let's see, first let's see how many snapshots are there. So here you can see this is the snapshot is created. Let's open a new tab. Let's open a new tab. Let's paste it here. I will specify the profile name here. SRV-C2. Okay, so we have to specify one more command that we already specified here. You have to change it. So you have to specify this owner ID, otherwise it will show all the snapshot, the AWS provided snapshot, or so you have to provide the owner ID self. So you have to just change this one. Okay, let's paste it here. That's it. Okay, you can see there is one snapshot, two snapshots, and three. There are three snapshots. Let's see if there are any more. No, there are only three snapshots. This is the first snapshot, this is the second, and this is third. You can see here in the description I mentioned red team snapshots. You can see here this is the snapshot which we created recently. This is the red team snapshot. This is the snapshot ID which is created from this volume. 9A is the ID. Let's see. This is the same. You will get the information about all other snapshots are there. So you can identify using the snapshot ID or the description mentioned there. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a new volume from this snapshot. So this copy this command. And one more, this is really important. Let's copy this command. Let's specify profile survey EC. Yeah, there is one more thing. You can see here, this is the instance, and this is instance which is there in this availability zone, US East 2B. So suppose this is the instance which is there in this availability zone. The snapshot you have and the volume which you are creating from the snapshot should be there in this availability zone. So that means suppose the volume which we are going to create from this snapshot will be there in this availability zone. So I pasted the availability zone from here, because if instance and a volume are there in different availability zone, you can't attach it. Just copy this one, paste it here, and now you have to specify the snapshot ID, because we are going to create a volume from this snapshot that we recently created from this snapshot. So you have to specify the snapshot ID. So till now what you did, so you can see here, this is the instance we identify, we created the snapshot, and then we have to create the volume. This is the volume you have to create, and you can see here this is the snapshot, this is the instance which is in this volume. It doesn't matter that the the volume which we are creating should be matched with the instance which we have access. So this is the instance we don't have access, but this volume we created in 2B. Why? Because the another instance which we do have access. Suppose there is one more instance. This is the first instance we don't have access. This is the second instance we have access. This is also there in this availability zone. That's why we specify here in this availability zone. Why? Because the new created volume that we create should be attached with this newly created instance. Why? Because we have access only the new instance where we are going to attach this volume. So I created this one. Let's create this one. So you can see here it's created. This volume is created, and this volume is created from this snapshot. So this is the volume which is created in this snapshot. Currently you can see here there is only 3 volumes, 3 or 4 volumes, but when we see it again, you can see here this is the volume 1, this is the volume. You can see, let's look for this one, state is available or not. The instance which is already attached, you can see here the state will be attached, but recently we created a new volume, and we created the volume from this snapshot and this availability zone. So it will be same in this availability zone. This volume will be same in this availability zone. Why? Then only we can attach this volume to this instance. So let's create. This is already attached. This is already attached. Again, let's look for a new one. You can see here encrypted is false and state is available. This is encrypted true, so there may be a one more volume will be there, but it's not for us because it's encrypted. Then recently we created the volume, so recently this is the volume we created. This is the volume ID EC9. Let's check, is it the same? Yes, EC9, this is the same. This is the new volume we created, and the status you can see is available. Available means it's currently not attached to any of the instance. So you can attach this volume to instance which we have access. Why? Then only we can explore the file system or data in this particular volume. So what we are going to do, you can see here we created the snapshot, we created the volume. Now we are going to attach this volume to this instance, which is a different instance. This is the not same one because we do have access this one, we don't have access this one. So there is one more instance. Let's describe again the instance. So you can see here I already have the instance details here. Yeah, so you can see here this is the first instance, which is this is the instance which it seems like it's contain a critical information because it seems like it's in public there. There is new more instances, one more instances which we created recently because we do have a rights. We do have a rights to create the instance. If we do have a right, we can attach the key and you can access it. But you can't access the already created instance because you don't have a key or any passwords. So this is the new instance we created and we have access, and this is the instance. So there is already you can see there is already primary block device is already attached. You can attach a new one. The recently created volume you can also attach. So what we are going to do, just copy this one. We are going to attach the volume which we created recently to this new instance. So let's see how we can create it. So this is the command. You can attach the volume to this instance. Copy this one, paste it here, and you have to specify the profile. All you are going to do is executing from the same credential which you compromised earlier. Profile srv ec2. What you are going to do, you have to specify the instance ID. So we have to specify the new instance which we have access. So we have to specify the ID of this instance. Let's copy this one, paste it here. Volume, which volume you want to add in this instance. So this is the newly created volume which we are going to copy from here, and you have to paste it here. And this is the device should be there in this format because there is already one device which is attached and which have this syntax, like this is the device which is attached there. This is the root device dev xvda. So we are going to use dev sdfd. Let's execute this command. Okay, let's whatever you can see here xsda. Let's copy this one, let's paste it here, and let's b, you can mention b here. Yes, so you can see here this is the volume which is attached to this instance, and device will be this one. So let's do one thing. Let's again execute this command, describe instance, to get the more information about the instance. So let's this one, profile srv. This is the first instance can see here XVDA, which is have the critical information, but you can't access it. Let's check for the new instance. So this is the new instance where we attach the newly created volume. So you can see now, you can see here there is two block device. One is XVDA, which is root one, and this is the new one which attached here. Initially there is only one devices. You can see here there is only one devices which is attached here, but now you attach the new devices. Initially there is only one devices, and now you can see there is two devices which is attached to this instance. The first devices is the default devices or primary devices, and second one is the devices which we created from this instance. So this is how we can attach this in. Now how we can access it? So you can see, you already know that we can access this instance because we have a rights to access this instance. Why we did all this step? Because we can't access this instance. If we can access this instance, we can access the data from here directly, but we cannot access this instance. That's why we created the snapshot, we created volume, and then we attach it. We can access this instance. So let's access this instance. So suppose let's copy the IP address, public IP address of this instance. This is the public IP address. Suppose we already have a key. Let's using putty EC2 user to specify this public key. You have to specify the key. Yes. Perfect. Now you can access the second instance which you recently created, and you attach the volume, recently created volume also you attach to this instance. So when you going for dev sections, let's lsc grep x. What is the name of this device? So this is the device name, xvdb. So you can see here this is the device which is attached here. There is a root device. So this, you can see the file system which is there in the root device, which is there in XVDA, but we are interested in this one. So you have to mount this device. So you first I'll create. So you can see there is nothing like in this directory. You can create a red team. So there is one directory which you created, red team. Let's see what is there in this red team. You can see there is nothing like in this red team. Just back. Now you have to use this command to mount this device. Use mount. Let's copy this one. That is sudo, that is specify, because you have to when you are going to mount, you need a sudo rights. So what we are going to mount, st, what is the name of this device? This is the device name. You can see it here, the device. And where we are going to mount, here we created, it's there in directly, you can specify here that thing. Okay, that means this device, the volume, the new one volume will be mounted here in this directory. So let's change stb1 to this red team, and it's successful. So I'm able to mount this volume successful. Let's see what is there. When we are looking for this directory, you can see here it is just look like the file systems. So this is the root directory of the instance which we took the snapshot. So the file system, it's the root directory, or sorry, root device of this EC2 instance. So now let's look for any critical information that is contains. Let's go for a home. So you can see there is one user. Let's see the user information. No, I did wrong. So let's go for a red team. This is the actual root directory. The currently what I'm looking for, the root directory of the this machine, but this is the volume which we created. So when you looking for agent working directory, I'm there in red team, the directory which we mounted recently, the volume, new volume. Now what we are going to look, this is the directory. Now we are looking for inside this one. So let's look for the home, not directly home. So let's see what is the present working directory. I'm there in this folder, and this directory is the root directory of the mount, newly volume, created volume. And you can see here, let's see how many users are there. So there is 2 users. There are 2 users in this particular instance. So this instance, there is 2 users are there. Let's look for the other critical information for this EC2 users. Now you can see there's, you can find out the key, which is we found when we start this video. We saw that there's instance which have a critical information. Let's see, this is the same. Yeah, you can see here this is the key. So like that you can exfiltrate the critical informations from the EBS drive you have. Let's see what is the current directory which is there inside this directory, and this is the root directory where we mounted this newly created volume. That's when you're looking for the instance itself, the root directory of this instance itself. You can see here there's nothing like this one. So currently I'm there in this one, and that time I'm there in this, under this section. So this is how you can see that what are the informations there. If this is the web application or any application which is running there, you can find out the source code there, or you can find out the other critical informations. So this is how you can exfiltrate the data from the EBS devices, or you can say you can exfiltrate the, or you can access the credentials. So if there is a credential, seems like there is a key which is attached or which is stored here in this volume, you can exfiltrate this key and you can use for any further red teaming activities. So this is all about this activity, how you can exploit these things. So from the this is the activity you can do to perform a red teaming exercise that will help you to perform a further attack. So there is chance that you found some key, you found some credential where we use in our future, or we use in further exploiting few different application or EC2 instances. So this is how you can exfiltrate the data. So this is all about this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.